Again? I can't believe...
Yes? What is it? It means I'm a patrol officer, sir.
What was with that, sir? She's a woman. That's how women speak to men. With respect. It might be because you have the higher rank.
Well, I guess I.
Cut the shit. Every second you stand here running your mouth, the case grows colder.
That was pretty good, Harry. Wasn't it, Jean?
Whoa, how does she know your name? She probably heard it from somewhere. You have to be more careful, karaoke star. Names are dangerous.
That was absolute shit, if you want my opinion. Drunken shit. Haven't wanted anything to end this badly since I had cluster headaches. Horrible. Truly horrible. I beg of you, don't ever subject anyone to this torture again. I mean, seriously, you need to...
Jean, it's not right. Don't make it worse, and I really liked it. Yes? Yes, I called you by your name. What about it? God, everybody knows your name. Please go finish your investigation, so everyone can go home.
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you...
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling-height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass. Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling-height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like nothing, just black tangle.
It's you again. What is it?
An old call, East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area. An old call box with a matrix of push. Whatever she says, it can't hurt you. You're a different person now. Stronger, healthier, and... alright, maybe not healthier, but it's a bonus that you've drunk so hard you can't remember any of your past relationships. Oblivion's the ace in your corner. There's a light buzz as you press the doorbell. waiting for her to answer the call. It's cold outside, and you can hear the wind blowing into the speaker. A strange metallic taste fills your mouth as you stare at the intercom. There's the static again, whispering like a seashell pressed against the air.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you come to place an order? My gosh.
Here come the bad vibes again. Relax. Distance yourself from it.
It's you. My gosh. I didn't think I would hear your voice again.
Wait, is she...
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care.
The voice from the intercom doesn't answer, but you can hear her breathing. Wind blows into your microphone again, crackling and echoing in the box. Your hands are getting cold and your breathing becomes visible, forming small silvery puffs in the air.
Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean. It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally forget about you.
And then it hits you. She tries again not to cry, and still doesn't succeed completely. Her quiet sobs sound old and distant, as if her voice is being played off a wax cylinder. Anger boils up in your chest. Her sound melts into the static from a long-distance phone call. From time to time, you can hear people talking in the... This is where you hung up the call the last time, but the recording is still going. A phone rings in the office with an old-fashioned chime, and someone walks by in a pair of heels. The static is like a warm blanket wrapped around. No one replies, but the static grows stronger like rainfall. Then a female voice speaks out, completely different from the one before. Glorious and total somehow, crawling inside your head.
For 300 years I have been here, volatile and luminous, made of sodium and rain. If you want me, you can find me on the beach, dans la dernière balle.
So... it was a recording trapped in the circuitry from some ancient tenant. This sometimes happens. Shall we conclude here? We have other mysteries to solve. I don't have time to explain it to you right now. Maybe sometime later. Don't take this the wrong way, but during our short stint working together, something weird is almost always happening to you.
That is true.
What do you see? What do I then?
Indeed.
So far,
Of course, there were 8 tracks.
there's one pair missing. Yes, I doubt the hard is. I go a week.
It is not
As I say,
correct again.
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno do-
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling-in rags. This and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south, must have been in a hurry.
No wonder the cafeteria manager seemed frustrated when he was giving us directions to the yard. Well, you did provide us with a very convenient access point to the crime scene.
The tracks are as they have ever been, a bit more worn perhaps. Both cables are unplugged from the breaker box. A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall.
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around.
He likes this. A thick layer of coal dust, a lush layer of coal now covers your skin. Maybe you could paint something with this coal. Leave a cave painting for future archaeology. Still, it's good to have this dirt on you. Real men wear coal for makeup. The bear's eyes are dead.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die? Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
A gust of cold air sweeps through the chimney. The stones and minerals on the shelves rattle as though agitated. For a moment, it almost feels as though you're outside the building, exposed to the atmosphere.
Didn't we already talk about this? What are you talking about? My address is exactly the same. Rue de Saint-Guilain 10.
No, the old coal plant that used to be here was subsumed into the new venture. Its ruins swallowed up, yet it has a different address in the heart of the city.
This doesn't make any sense. Are you saying my business was spared because of a technicality? Where is this coming from? You're right. I should take a trip to the roof once the snow is gone. Does it mean that I'm safe from failure?
She starts laughing, her fingers trying to rub away the exhaustion from her face.
Do you know what this is? It's a mourning ring. I made this when my first company failed. It was a small jewelry shop right here in the East Delta Commerce Center, built with the little I inherited from my parents. I drove it into the ground within a year. I didn't have what you would call a viable business plan. It wasn't just the jewelry shop either. I always thought that it was just the world that you were supposed to try again and again until you finally succeed. And now you're telling me what? That it was all because I didn't run my little shops and ventures from a dump inside an abandoned chimney? Yeah. Or maybe it's the entire world that's cursed. It's such a precarious place. Nothing ever works out the way you want it. That's why people like role-playing games. You can be whoever you want to be, you can try again. Still, there is something inherently violent even about dice rolls. It's like every time you cast a die, something disappears. Some alternative ending or an entirely different world. But anyway, thanks for sharing your theories, officer. Of course, tell me what you have in mind. A star that fell from the firmament? Those cost more than 7 real. Yes, you definitely have the proper attitude. How about a pair of 110 real, and I can get these ready in 8 hours. Great, see you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else? I'm sorry, I'm a bit overloaded just now, so I can only produce 1 die per customer.
Hello again, esteemed officer.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely... Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels.
Of course. Such violence and immorality. I mean, enjoy.
Shelves full of biographies of...
A true cultural touchstone.
Several maps. The maps look old and faded. Your eye can... This bookstore is not strict... A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of...
If you say so, but you... Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks.
It is. Oh yes, certainly.
Hi, Ace Detective.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch. The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. Rising up behind him are two silhouettes wrapped in a passion. The tagline reads, Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks just like Dick Mullen. That seems to sum up the premise. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he...
Are you really reading that, detective? Good luck finding it. He's not much of a character, I think you'll find. Just a stand-in for the reader.
The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vespa to a small town along the Insulindian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers, but also extremely accurate in your case. Two days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vespa police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that, desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vespa police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
What's the matter, detective?
The lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented. They're not shitting you, detective. This is what the writers think passes for police procedure. Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana Deneva. And not just any dame. She's truly one in a million, a knockout whose mind is as dangerous as her curves. Secrets are the currency of human relations. Deneuve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead. Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly he would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder? A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane, though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height. And while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own. Torvald, the art collector, is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone, let alone plug them 3 times in the chest the way Spillane got Dick. That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mullen discovers that Torvald was once involved. One evening, Diana Deneuve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon yes, comfort and pleasure. The warmth of another human's touch, the burning taste of well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer. The man's a prosecutor's nightmare. Solving a murder counts for nothing if all the evidence gets thrown out in court over police misconduct. As As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Deanna Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the name of the troop, always aim for the center of mass." Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly. When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood. Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body. If they flee in a crime scene, destroying evidence, even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing the heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, can you solve the case before the cops close in? What is it, detective? It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mullen never... What's the matter? Afraid you've been hacking up your friends' bodies in the night? There was never a time when he wasn't a detective. Dick Mullen was made to crack skulls and solve cases. It's who he is. He could no more stop. For a moment, you cease to read the story on the page and see the book for what it is. A collection of brittle, cheaply printed pages. From nowhere, you hear the screech of sneakers on a waxed floor, and you feel the burn of rope against your hands. You won't find the answers you're looking for here, in other words. Is it really so evil, detective? Like what? Do you even have those? Did you lose them, or did they leave you? Do you even... But then, what does this book know? It's just a poorly made piece of pulp garbage made to be... So, who did it, detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve? Could be. Who knows? Only one way to find out. You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast, you try to grab the pages as they come loose, but dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take way too long.
Ah, yes. The problem with mass-market paperbacks. They are not made to last. Perhaps this is a sign that you should get back to solving your own murder, huh, detective?
Don't forget, it could have been the delirium tremens. In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity. Large letters on the front form a title, Wirral. The colorful box is illustrated with bucolic vistas. The cover art also features odd-looking humanoids, some short, some taller, some with pointy text underneath the title in smaller typeface reads, 3rd edition, Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side mysterious things rattle inside. What could they be? Dice? None of that witless man from Heimdall, fascist dross, hidden behind faux realistic allegory. Wirral is no cliché-ridden apologia for colonial violence. A blurb on the back reads, tired of the tedium and toil of modern life? Escape to Wirral. Succumb to a world of high pasternal fantastique. Unleash your imagination and create an adventure of endless possibilities. Discover the terrible secret threatening Wirral. Can your band of adventurers save the world? Exactly. That's the spirit. All you have to do is read an intricate... In no time, you could be romping through grasslands with low-level characters, hunted by Iskala riders, or battling unspeakable monsters in endless dungeons fraught with danger and despair. You pry open the box. Inside, you find a folded-up map, a small booklet, a 24-sided die. It's made from some sort of wood and has been decorated with peculiar plant motif. You place the die into your pocket. It's always good to have luck on your side. A reprint of a crude hand-drawn map. The top left corner reads, Lands of Wirral. The map features both small villages and mid-sized towns with odd names. In addition to it doesn't seem to correspond with anything you've seen thus far. It's not a very helpful map. A quick guide to the magical races of Wirral. Create your own hero, choosing from any of the options are in order of importance. The Welkin, the Tueog, the humans, the Welkin, tall, lithe, and graceful, with long flowing hair and pointy ears. They're known for being powerful magic users. The Welkin come with a variety of exciting subraces. High Welkin, Forest Welkin, Lake Welkin, and Snow Welkin. But a grand race of industrious mountain people. They're short, stout, and muscular, and enjoy digging for gold and other precious minerals. They're also the Tueog also come in they're just humans. What else is there to tell? They're average in all stats. A very small race of flying people, known for being mischievous, full of trickery. They often lure people into their magical trap. The least popular of the Wirral races, the Pygmies, are short, rotund, and dim-witted. Pygmies live in small villages made of shoddy wooden dwellings. You see a man in ragged clothes wearing a lopsided hat and wielding.
Interesting. A communard. A communard. One of the leftist revolutionaries in the anti-centennial revolution. The figurine is not a part of the real game setting. I guess someone misplaced it during the packaging process. I have a feeling the figurines are more there to set the scene than anything else.
You pick the figurine up by the base to meet your gaze. The little plastic man stares back at you, his face contorted into a disturbing shout. Then you pocket a colorful box with a In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in the cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens, and even before you open it, you can tell that this will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interaction. The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice there's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revashole. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating. That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structure. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Remember, there are many paths to victory in Suzerainty, but successful players will find one stretch. Boring, boring, boring. Tear up this rulebook and commit some old school atrocities. The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now. You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play. In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, There are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each from the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens, from Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, gray marble block tokens, from the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens, and from Supramuindi and Sarah Maritza.
Oh, those are nice.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying tsk as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard...
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
You hold the open game box before you. The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he...
Holy shit! The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours. I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large. The Greatest, browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates. You can do it. It'll be worth it. There's something. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a... That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Dolores Day. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath, an airport bag. Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the... Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It was correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocent? Dolores. Incorrect again. While she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even critical of the Innocentic, even though the words most associated with her rule are l'amour, la compassion, la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self. Correct. named the innocence of militarism. He codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the Inter-Isolari Real as the global reserve currency. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the Question 3. Who was the... Okay, it wasn't Dolores Day. She's not false. No, stop thinking it. I said it wasn't her. She was true. Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Eremno Pasternak. Would you try again? Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside. The most famous and important of these was Eremno Pasternak. He was into torture, desperate. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was correct? The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence. A most radical everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful. And more beautiful. And congratulations on finishing the test. A D, not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you? Okay.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with... The worn map features an intricate... It almost looks like they... It's just a racist. The face of King. The note is written. 6 crumbling pebbles. You stare at the now a police badge on which, in your hand, the porterial is just the greatest in large letters on the front. The suzerainty box is heavy and slightly awkward in your hands. The precarious world. How not to lose. It is impossible not to. The world is balanced on the edge of a knife. It's a game of frayed nerves. You're pushed on by numbers and punitive measures, pain, rejection, and unpaid bills. You can either play or you can crawl under a boat and waste away, turn into salt or a flock of seagulls. Your enemies would love that. The cover of this tattered paperback features the man from Yelmdar, standing atop a pile of bloody corpses. His 2 Zweier behind him rise the harsh, snow-capped peaks of his native Northlands. In bold red letters, the title, Yelmdaler Man, the man from Yelmdar. unfurls like a banner. In the foreground, a nearly nude woman lies. Oh, this seems interesting. The back blurb reads, his latest adventure serves as the perfect introduction to the savage Heimdall saga. Meet man from Heimdall, his faithful blood brother, Tyribald, the noble Lord Hrothgar. Below, in smaller font, you see the parenthetical, adapted from Man from Eondal and a brazen attempt to bilk fans for more money by splicing together old stories under a new title. Their main concern is the continuation of the franchise, not making literary history. The story opens in media res. The man from Heimdall and his band of northern reavers are in the bowels of an ancient temple, surrounded by an army of gibbering whites, led by nightfall. Only the man from Heimdall and his blood brother, noble Tyribald, are left standing against the dead horde. It is an honor to die by your side, brother, Tyribald cries, as his battle axe beheads one of their reanimated comrades. 9. Tyribald, the man from Heimdall, bellows over the army of flesh and bone. Have courage for the Northlands, for Heimdall. He leaps to the mezzanine to face the black-eyed figure, and the writer has never held a sword in their life, let alone two-handed swords at the same. It is physically impossible for a human being to effectively dual-wield Zweihander swords in any kind, and with deadly finesse, his twin blades scissor the necromancer's head from its body. The undead legions collapse like ragdolls as the dark magic leaves them, and the two Northmen stand alone in their cursed temple, where the bodies of their lost brothers. A few chapters later, the man from Heimdall and Tyribald are in a completely different setting, high above an arid desert, riding a pair of... The Northmen find themselves in the court of a powerful southern king, Lord Hrothgar. The old king beseeches the man from Heimdall to rid his kingdom of the Nachtherra, a subterranean. The man from Heimdall extracts a high price from the desperate king. He asks land for the homeless desert pygmies living exiled in the kingdom's borderlands. Hrothgar offers the hand of his eldest daughter instead, but the son of winter, the man from Heimdall, stares at you on the cover.
Put your hands where I can see them.
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands. Right now!
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals a gun in her shaking hand. Her hand is trembling from some sort of neurodegenerative disease.
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
You shouldn't be here. Something's very wrong with her. She's completely out of control.
Failure to comply. Suspect is displaying aggression. Officer, under duress! Officer, under duress!
Her eyes bulge with terror. Veins protrude on her forehead.
I am the police. Don't move. Don't move. Hands on your head. Suspect is armed and dangerous. Suspect is on the loose. Suspect at large. Officer, administer street justice at our own peril. That one extra lick with a baton or extra knee strike above was what was actually required. Suspect is under control.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything that might set her off.
The situation looks bad. Calm yourself. Steady your breathing. This is dangerous. You're 70% certain you always leave your gun loaded.
It's the goddamn police, shitbag! Hug the pavement! You're under arrest!
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police gear on her back. Medicine or drugs?
Officer in need of assistance! Suspect at large! Get on the ground!
Ma'am, please. We want to help you, but you need to lower that weapon.
Disturbance reported. Authorized deadly force. Sector, take the shot! Big red key! Big red key! Confiscated contraband. Restricted access. 2 kilos missing. Eyewitness report compromised.
I don't think she's on drugs. Being off drugs might actually be the problem here.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Status unconfirmed!
No. I thought Mr. Moran. Gareth!
Aggravated assault! Man down! Officers in pursuit!
What's the situation, officer?
Law enforcement compromised! Impersonating a police officer! License and registration! License and registration! Come in, dispatch! Sector! Sector! Azimuth!
She's losing it. One twitch and there would be blood.
We can't leave. A delirious civilian is pointing a firearm at us. Your firearm. You need to solve this.
Alright, here's the plan. You fling the chain cutters in her face, already darting right, and immediately close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. A drop of sweat runs down your nose, and in it you see the Martinez Inlet, wrapped in the night. In the abandoned fish market, 3 figures standing in a spectacular light show. A large, loud woman is pointing an empty firearm at the other 2. She doesn't want to listen, or even to be heard.
My God, I think you're right.
What? This isn't police issue. Police weapons have bullets. This isn't real. What is this? Police guns always have bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
Grab the gun, right now. This might be your only chance.
No one ever cares anymore. Why would they treat me like this?
Poor woman. We need to figure out what to do with her now.
Nobody's ever around. Nobody ever comes to visit me.
She's in a stupor. I've seen this before. God knows for how long. Could be days when they get like this. Honestly, I don't know. Dementia, probably. Dementia and Channel 8 and loneliness. Could be. Her hands were trembling and she did seem uncoordinated. But what are we gonna do with her?
Her scratched skin is warm to the touch, but the person inside doesn't even know you're there.
I don't think there's any need for that. In her current state, and without a gun, She isn't really a threat to anyone. We could let Titus know. This is a perfect problem for the local peacekeepers to handle. They might even know her family. Then we can ask him once we get back to the whirling. But we have to hurry, because it's late and they might have already gone home. But I think we're done here for now.
Please, leave the radio on.
Reflex to what? Being left alone? She stands motionless, just a heap of clothes and flashes now. Maybe... The woman stands slumped. She looks cat. Is one of those things a police cap? There were narcotics in there too. You're thinking of taking them? Do. She doesn't even flinch as you reach out and disentangle the familiar-looking lieutenant's cap.
Oh, is that yours? It's your hat.
You take the vial of Pyrrolidon and the bottle of speed as evidence. Obvious. She didn't consume them. She didn't look high. She confiscated them.
You're taking those, are you?
Listen to him, for once.
Thank you. I'm doing this to help you. We need to focus on the case.
The old woman doesn't react to your touch.
It's you again. What is it? What's that, copper? You want us to help little old ladies?
You're local law enforcement, aren't you? Helping troubled civilians should fall under your jurisdiction.
Yeah. We'll send someone out. Who is? Wait. It's the pigs, isn't it? God, poor lady. Don't worry, we'll handle this. I think she got some family in Courant or something. Bastards left her alone when she got sick. We've been getting complaints.
Hey, wasn't Everott's B team looking for her the other day? They said something about her, I don't know, finding something?
Yeah, I think you're right, Gene. She have something of yours, Pig? You're fucking with me. Your gun.
Sure did, boss. Heard him loud and clear. The pigs lost his gun to the pigs.
Well, at least I can see you got it back. If you have any questions... Auntie LaPlante, we always called her. Something LaPlante.
Marianne, amigo.
Anything else you wanted to know? Was? Like before. Just an old lady. Her kids moved away years ago. Never come to visit. Never took her calls. She gets out every now and then. She did right by lots of us when we were kids. Always was a little off, but still. Get wanted to be a cop, you mean? Well, shit. I don't actually know. Anyone know why she started acting like a pig?
No fucking clue. It's gotta be the crazy. Who'd want to be a pig? No, I didn't. Because I'm not fucking stupid, Polizonte.
Yeah, cop. That's some pretty fucking weird shit to say. The pigs level weird. But whatever gets you through the day. Dunno. She lives by the water. Shit washes up all the time on the beach.
Police paraphernalia doesn't just wash up on the coast, people. It's not like we dump it at night. She bought it, collected it.
No problemo, cop man. We take care of our mentally ill here in Martinez.
Sure enough, we're the real heroes on these streets.
Tremble. The time is now. Time for the show. For Taola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. Ulogu Theodos, Xeno Zausin, Ipoli Osidien, Echondes Fronisin. Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality, are the first crack in the sheer face of... Yes, you spoke the words of the Palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself. It's totally also a coping mechanism. So you should be. The world island crumbles at your feet, and perhaps, just a thought, this has something to do with the hangover. Okay, yes, maybe it is just the hangover talking, or some kind of joke you're playing on.
I've got nothing to say to you.
It's getting late and it's snowing.
Good night of
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
Oh yes, she does. You need to get your drink on. There is no other way for human beings to procreate. Not after 6,000 years of yeast cultivation-based mating rituals.
Okay. Where's this going? Absurdly and pointedly phrased. You can be quite funny, officer. Anyway...
She doesn't even understand you asked her out. Perhaps you're too sober to pull it off right now. Try again later. Wait, stop. That man, bloated beyond all recognition, was 42? Below the damage, the weeks of decomposition, all the swollen indignity of mortality. How old are you? That's where this is going. 45,000 liters of raw alcohol has left its disfigurements. What lies beneath, you wonder?
Huh. How old do I think you are?
She's buying time to formulate the best answer.
I don't know. 21? 17? 16? When does the male libido peak? Sure, yeah. And if you're not, age is just a number anyway.
Wait. This requires scientific measurements. To the laboratorium.
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation. Ah, yes. The night before I saw you in the hallway and reminded you you're a police officer. Wow. Elysium. You don't hear that term often.
She's a glib girl, but she liked the wording.
There was the usual ruckus, loud disco music. I can't say. Probably not. Sounded like you were flying solo. Oh, yes. Various artists. Ostentatious orchestrations prime among them. Were huge where I come from. I was very young then, of course, like 7. Life gets hard, but we go on. I don't know about that. At around 2 o'clock, the disco stopped and there was a change of pace. A slow, sad song started playing, like organ music on repeat. That went on for quite a while. Some of that time you were yelling along to it. Yes, there was a church in there. A really small church. Like the smallest, saddest church in the whole world. It was about that. And also that it doesn't matter anymore and that we're alone now. It was difficult to tell. The song itself was very quiet and soft, but you sounded like a wounded boar, sir. It was hard to understand what you were singing on top of it. Don't be. I was going out later anyway. It didn't bother me. Then you started screaming and trashed the place. A window was smashed, the tape player probably, the song stopped. And furniture too. A real destructathon. There was screaming. Then I think you passed out. There was. I think you screamed that you didn't want to be this type of animal anymore. I may have misheard, but it was sort of memorable. I went out afterwards. Everything was quiet by then. Around 4 or 5. And that was it. No problem, sir.
The same small head. This window.
Ah, smallest church in Saint-Saëns, right? It was all right. Subdued. I might start letting people up there again. Now, what can I do for you? Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting...
You see...
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm. It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. This is your gun. Now if we could only find your personality. The tear machines, your bottles clunk into the... Do you know what you should do with that money? To the left of a small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint-Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo. A colourful display.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Here you go, mister. Is this about the questions again? Because...
A lorry stuck. It's the ledger you found in the trash. Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now. You stare at the card, willing your hand to move. It refuses. It's too much. Not again. Two octopuses are smiling. You stare at the card, willing your hand to move. The words just crossed your mind somehow. Who do you think? You. It's slightly, ever so slightly, difficult to breathe once you've done. Your hand shakes. You're flushed with adrenaline. It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Not much is...
Waves are beginning to die down.
Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle of alcohol. What a solid can of mass-produced piss water. Well over 10% alcohol in this so-called... Wow, the gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it. There's a satisfying pop as the cap comes off, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. You've been here before. Nothing. Some mental stuff. Nothing to be worried about. Physically, you'll be strong as an ox. A golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things are melting. You're you again. A real cop. A real detective. Incredibly well done.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's an alcohol button. Alcohol gives +1 to physique skills. physical instrument, half light, electrochemistry, endurance, pain threshold, and
From the void we came, and to the void we must return. There it is, a brave little army in your pocket. The first Smokes platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you. You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. People are watching. Water pussy. People are always watching. That's what makes it cool. Now come on. Get a load of this rock and roll cop here, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. The lighter's dark green disposable plastic. Safety's off. In your case, the safety is always off. Repercussions. There's a high risk of glory with a mild chance, cool genius. Smoking makes you into an intellectual. Everybody knows that. It will help you concentrate a bit. That much is true. Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself, the man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls.
in the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a cigarettes button. Cigarettes gives +1 to intellect skills, logic, rhetoric, conceptualization, visual calculus, encyclopedia, and drama. This is good before a white check, but damages your health.
Waves are beginning to die down.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can.
It's getting late and it's snowing. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection. It belongs in the new, the third decade of the current century. Enough time had passed from the failure of the revolution that, for a fleeting moment, free market economy seemed like the ultimate. Things were good. It was smooth sailing. People made gold and champagne-tinted interiors and facades to suit. Forget about ostentatious orchestrations. For Revashole, your city, That out of the dazzling swirl of disco music in an open air boîte de nuit somewhere in Revashole West, Guillaume's blonde mane appeared on the screen. He sang some bullshit. Then he made the expression. Everyone loved it. Maybe you thought some of the stardust would rub off on you. Maybe it did. Either way, it's all gone now. Only the grimace remains. The click is used to spur on a horse. It also features heavily in Guillaume Le Million's regional mega hit, Don't Worry Your Pretty Little Head. Sometimes you like to add finger pistols to the mix, because unlike Guillaume Le Million, you are a police officer. It's your nifty little way to say, I'm armed and dangerous. There is a vast ocean of time between right now and the expression, looking good on you, or anyone. 2 decades, if the calendar is to be trusted. Humanity has run aground in that time. It's a different world now. The expression is a relic. You have some understanding of the near history of disco, plus the trivia you've picked up along the way. Episodic memory, however, remains in the dark. It may not really. Oh must have just stirred your mind. They're more like a disco rock band anyway. It doesn't have to be. You can swoon over Guillaume and his champagne-corked smile whenever you want to. Maybe some of the stardust will return. On the table, you see the bed is comforting. The bed underneath you is soft, if lumpy. Waves wash the sand underneath the hut, then grow distant to your ear, in the quiet hum of the organic heater.
Like a deftly cast fishing net, sleep pulls you out of the world and into its dark shore. The rough mesh chafes, tightening around you, it digs into your brain.
How have things been going for you out there? Helped anyone lately? Saved anyone lately? Murdered anyone lately?
This bastard isn't even listening to you.
Because you know you are a murderer. A disco music listening psycho killer who offs poor people. And then forgets about.
Hear that? You are naive to think he's afraid of his bloodied hands. Soul brother. Oh no. I see inside his amygdala. And his hippo is much, much worse than that.
Don't tell him, sister. It's too bad.
They're right. This is their function. To keep you from it.
We're trying to help you. All these processes, these tortures, voices and
The last dream will be total annihilation. Cinders peeling off the fuselage. We won't be there to help you anymore, Harry. We will be dormant. You will be naked and alone.
In hell, an ancient sadness, brother. 10,000 years later, in front of the video rental, there is a
Everything is so okay. Your eyelids flutter open for a moment. When you close them again, you sense the light of the room around.
The last thought in your head before waking is, maybe you shouldn't have seen that stained glass window in the church. An old mirror hangs up.
Yes?